Speaking of track meets, let's go to Indianapolis. Pacers Bucks right now. The Bucks are coming off a late comeback win against the Pistons at home. Giannis gets ejected in the third, and the Pistons flat out went on a massive run to almost essentially win that game. Dame scores double digits in the fourth quarter to keep them in it. Big jumper from Brook Lopez, three to close it. They survived the scare. Now they go right on the road to Indianapolis right now. 3.5 total sits at 242.5. I have no play here with the Bucks coming off a back-to-back. The total, what do we think about the total, Jay? 242.5 is a pretty hefty number, but this is also the best offensive team in the NBA in the Pacers.
Yeah, I'm honestly I'm not a strong total guy, but I do know that I'm not playing an under on the Pacers game. The Bucks hadn't been playing the best defense. They're on a back to back. They have to that has to travel. Both of them are on a back to back, but the Bucks had to come back and they have to travel as well. But
Right.
we know that Giannis played limited minutes because he got thrown out of the game versus the Pistons. But still, the rest of the team and Damian Lillard and Malik Beasley, I'll keep saying it, man. These two guys starting along each other. It's just not a great defensive front there. I mean, Halliburton would feast on these guys, man. I'm telling you that right now. He's going to absolutely feast on these guys. But the Bucks have owned them for whatever reason. Won 9 out of the last 10 games, and that's even with the recent games with the Pacers being better. They beat them one time last year, 139-123. But for the most part, the Bucks have basically they've owned Indiana. So let's see. I mean, this is a really short line as well. The line is kind of telling us that maybe the Pacers might be, you know what
Yep.
I'm saying, a feisty
Yep.
underdog in this game. This is one of the best Pacers teams that they've had in a while. So it's a really small. I mean, let me see. Other than when they were laying -3, I bet you Giannis was out in that game. But what do you think in this? I mean, you know what I'm saying. What do you think, Sean? Does it make some sense though?
Yeah, I mean the total's gone over in 4 of the last 5 games for the Pacers. That's
Mm-hmm.
one thing. Sometimes I always say this. Sometimes we try to get too cute, too sharp. There's no reason to put yourself in a hole or in a not. I shouldn't say a hole, but put yourself back up against the wall in an instant sweat trying to take an under in a Pacers game where they're going to be getting up shots 2, 3, 4
Especially in the
seconds into the
regular
shot clock.
season.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. There's no reason. Find a different spot. Don't put yourself through that because I'm going to tell you this at 242.5, if it does come in under, it's 240. It's not coming in 225. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? You're going to be in a grinder the entire way trying to fade and under. And I agree with you across the board on Tyrese Halliburton. As soon as Giannis went out, the Pistons absolutely took off. Dame Lillard had to pick up the slack offensively, and they had no answer for Cade Cunningham coming down the stretch offensively or defensively, excuse me. So Tyrese Halliburton with his game style as well, they're going to be confused. The big thing about Milwaukee's defense and the issue is they don't really know what they want to do. There's a lot of situations where Brook Lopez is kind of looking around in spots like, you guys want me to drop? Do you want me to help? What do I do? And by the time they figure it out, it's a bucket. So they are going to be
It's
in that
coaching.
position.
That's
Yeah.
coaching right there.
Yeah, Adrian Griffin is in for – he's got to get his boys settled and figure out how they want to approach the defensive side of the ball because Tyrese Halliburton's going to have those boys confused quite a bit. This might be one of those games where, shout out our guy Joe Delaire, you just ladder up assists, you ladder up a PRA where Tyrese could just go absolutely berserk here. 4 or 5 threes, 12 assists type night for Tyrese Halliburton. AC, how do you see it?
Yeah, there's a couple points I want to react to. First, Jay mentioned the line being a short favorite. That's when you kind of know it's a little trappy. If I had to bet, I would actually be leaning towards the Indiana Pacers, to be honest with you. And then the second thing, Sean, you mentioned it. It's not worth it trying to be like too sharp, especially in the regular season. We all know the regular season is a little more public. It's a little more simple, if you will. Playoffs when the games actually matter. Maybe the in season tournaments are going to matter, but playoffs usually is going to be a lot sharper. That's when you see the dog kind of bark. But in this game, the over, man, it's tough to talk off of it, right? The Pacers are second in pace. I think the Bucks are sixth in pace. These are two teams in the top 6 in pace. If they hit their threes, you would expect that over to hit. Even though they're both teams on the second night of a back-to-back, I don't have an official play on this game. I do lean the Pacers in this game, and I agree. Like, if the Pacers are going to be competitive, it's because of Tyrese Halliburton. But then if you want to look at threes made, if you want to look at like PRA, look at guys like, Buddy Hield, look at guys at Benedict Mathurin, because they're going to get enough shots up there to really challenge this Bucks team, who hasn't really played any defense all season